All right, well, welcome everybody. Today we'll be talking about women's economic empowerment through mentoring. And we'll be, first of all, as Nicholas kindly said, I'm Angela. I'm the program manager for the Mentoring Women in Business program at the Foundation. And Efe, who's here with me today, is the senior program manager. And just to give you a quick little overview, today we'll be discussing the foundation and the work that we do, and then we'll be going a bit more into the barriers that women entrepreneurs face around the world. We'll be then having some breakout discussions where we'll be using the exciting Jamboards, and then we'll come back together to discuss our different ideas, and then we'll be going into the networking. First of all, Efe is going to tell us a little bit about the foundation.
Thank you everyone for joining us today. I'm really excited to kind of share with you a little bit about our work and the work that we do here at the Foundation. So I don't know if anyone has actually heard of us or are familiar with our work, but the Cherie Blair Foundation's main mission is to help release the potential of women entrepreneurs in low and middle income countries and close the global gender gap in entrepreneurship. With the whole aim to really empower women to start, grow and sustain successful businesses so that they can go forward to redefine their futures for themselves as well as for society. One of the kind of biggest things we see in entrepreneurship is that women entrepreneurs in low and middle income countries still face a range of barriers and challenges, from raising capital to accessing markets to which further increases the global gender gap. So our mission here at the Foundation, or our vision, I should say, at the Foundation, is for every woman and girl to enjoy equal economic opportunity so that they can live to their full potential. To kind of help us achieve this goal, we use a range of programmatic delivery as well as advocacy to kind of deliver programs and reports and data to directly support, since our inception in 2008, over 200,000 women entrepreneurs across more than 100 low and middle income countries.
So to give you a bit of an idea of the barriers faced by women entrepreneurs in low and middle income countries, they face many barriers which have a knock-on effect in many different ways, both internally and externally. For example, gender stereotypes. They are a root cause of many barriers, feeding a lack of confidence in women entrepreneurs and discrimination in accessing finance, networks, and markets. In fact, 70% of women entrepreneurs surveyed by the Foundation said that gender stereotypes have negatively impacted their work as an entrepreneur. Also, not to mention education inequalities, which mean that women and girls start their economic lives disadvantaged without essential skills and knowledge. And many women entrepreneurs in low and middle income countries have to juggle running a business with unpaid care work and responsibilities which limit their time. As one of the Foundation's alumna, Susie Lawati, who is the founder of a food company in Indonesia, said, "There is a success gap due to people's assumptions that men are better in business than women. It's also more difficult to access finance." So that gives you a bit of a highlight of the barriers that women are facing and the ripple effects that has.
As I mentioned, we have a range of different types of programs to help us in our goal to support women entrepreneurs in low and middle income countries. And one of those programs, which is considered to be our flagship program here at the Foundation, is our Mentoring Women in Business program. On our mentoring program, we match experienced business professionals from around the world with women entrepreneurs in low and middle income countries for a cross-border, entirely online mentoring journey. Our mentoring pairs work together for 1 year using a bespoke online platform where they can work on objectives that revolve around the mentees' business and development needs, as well as the mentor's own learning objectives. In addition to obviously having the online nature of our program, allowing us to connect mentees and mentors, I should say, from around the world, online nature of our program also provides great flexibility for our busy mentees and mentors so they can schedule meetings around work, family commitments, as well as being able to meet from their desks or on the go. The women entrepreneurs that we work with are pioneering driven change makers and have created businesses in a range of different sectors, including hospitality, electronics, retail, education, health, textiles, you name it. I'm pretty sure there is one entrepreneur currently or has been on a program who has worked in that sector or is about to launch a business in that sector. When it comes to the kind of stages of businesses, we have women on our program who are either at the early stages of their entrepreneurial journey to having women who have been running their businesses for a number of years. In a similar way, the mentors that we work with are experienced professionals who come from a range of different business backgrounds and bring an immense range of expertise and knowledge to share with our women entrepreneurs. One of the kind of key aspects of our program is how it is carefully designed, and we offer personalized support to all our mentors and mentees throughout the mentoring journey through a kind of clear program structure that includes 4 key phases to kind of help our pairs move through the program year to kind of build mutual beneficial mentoring relationships. Alongside the one-to-one mentoring, we do also offer a range of resources and tools that kind of range or kind of focus on topics around business and professional development needs to our mentors and mentees to further kind of supplement the one-to-one mentoring. We also offer a range of live sessions such as webinars and training materials, again, to kind of further offer more to the mentoring experience for our mentors and mentees. Alongside all of that, we also do have a networking community that we're building and fostering that kind of supports our women entrepreneurs as well as our mentors. Once they join the program, they are actually part of our own global online community. So one of the key things that we do really stress about our program and to our mentors and mentees is that the benefits extend not only to our mentees, but to our mentors as well. So on this slide, we have a few kind of key impacts that we saw from the mentors and mentees that graduated from our program in 2022. So looking at the kind of mentees that graduated last year, they were able to acquire and improve a broad range of skills that range from business strategy, customer acquisition, to increasing their confidence, as well as being able to improve their business performance, as well as increasing the number of employees. Looking at what mentors were able to kind of gain from their experience in the program, we saw that, or they fed back, that they not only were able to kind of gain a new cultural understanding, as well as awareness of women entrepreneurs and the kind of sectors that they're working, but they were also able to improve their listening as well as communication skills and being able to actually learn about doing business in a new sector or market.
So to give you a bit more of a snapshot of the women that we support and the impact that mentoring has, here is a lovely quote from Oduneo, who is a woman entrepreneur from Nigeria and founder of Alairale Apparel. She participated in our mentoring program. And the quote here: "The challenge as a woman in this business is the family care. I need to take care of my girls." And that really highlights the limits, the time limits and constraints that many women entrepreneurs have. To tell you a bit more about her mentoring journey, she started her clothing company as a way of earning money for her family. She joined our mentoring Women in Business program in 2021, and she was paired with her mentor, Mirel, a business advisor from Lebanon. Together, they have laid plans to take Oduneo's business to the next level by growing its digital presence and expanding the product line. Oduneo's goal for her business to support women and girls in her community. She hopes to one day have a fashion factory where she'll be able to create jobs and empower local people by teaching them sewing and design skills. Mirel, her mentor, said, "I feel that when I belong to the Cherie Blair Foundation for Women, I'm proud to say that I'm part of a big community of mentors and mentees. I feel proud and honored to be a part of it." So this just really gives a snapshot of the women, an example of the type of women that we support and the way that the mentoring program impacts their lives and their jobs, their families and their communities. It really does have a ripple effect. So now we're going to talk about, we're going to go into breakout rooms in a minute to give you a bit of idea of what we'll be talking about or how we'll be running these breakout rooms. Each breakout room will have 2 questions to address, and these questions are noted on the front page of the Jamboard, which you will be given a link to by our whiz Nicola, not yet, but when we're ready to go into the breakout rooms. I suggest you allow 10 minutes per question, and really just free flow ideas. Obviously, there are no bad ideas, and make notes of your ideas and your thoughts and further questions you'd like to ask on the respective Jamboard. This will make sense when you see the Jamboard. And then when we come back to the room all together, we will be able to have a general discussion based off of our thoughts, questions, ideas that we would like to share. I hope everyone had a great discussion and lots of thought-provoking discussions. What we'll do now is I will share. Wonderful. Great. Okay. So the first question were groups 5 to 9. And the question was, how can mentoring impact overcoming inequalities? For example, economic, gendered, cultural inequalities. And it looks like we've got a few great ideas here. And we'll, would anyone from the group like to be a spokesperson, or any one of the groups like to share their thoughts and what they talked about, share some of these ideas?
I'm happy to represent room 6, if that's okay.
Thanks, Annabelle. Thank you.
So I had a really good conversation with Fatima and Pat. First of all, mentoring just creates a connection between 2 people who might not ordinarily get to meet. So access to someone else in a different context, and the ability to share knowledge and ideas and experience. And of course, that's a 2-way thing. And we were talking very much about that it isn't just the mentee that gets loads of wisdom and knowledge from the mentor. There's so much in the exchange. And I think there was sort of, we were talking about the perception that the mentor, because they are from a developed country, might have all the answers and definitely that's something we need to challenge, because there's so much richness in the learning about the culture, both cultures. And we also said that actually learning cultural differences is really important, especially as a community of women around the world. There's so much we can learn about each other's contexts. And my experience around, say, childcare, facing childcare challenges in the UK is not always going to be the solution, or might not be nowhere near the solution, or some other context. So it's about kind of like not assuming that in any way, and just having the dialogue as a way of kind of like inspiring ideas within the 2 different contexts. And yeah, so that was question 1 for us. Do you want me to go to question 2, or do you want to hear from someone else?
I think it'd be great to continue the discussion of question 1 first. Yeah. Thank you so much, Annabelle. Those are really absolutely great ideas, and definitely something that we see in the mentoring program, the mentors gaining that learning as well. Would anyone from any of the other rooms like to share their thoughts on question 1, please?
Shall I go for our room, which was room 7, and as are the yellow post-it notes. So there was only 2 of us in the room, and it was about we were both based in the UK, and we'd both been involved in mentoring through access to our professions. One of us is an accountant, one of us was a psychologist, clinical psychologist. So that was kind of how our answers came out, which was about giving people the opportunity to explore where they thought that there were barriers to entering those 2 professions. So we didn't really focus on the mentoring as in overseas and global mentoring. It was more specific to that. And it was just about allowing people to explore what the gaps are, realize that they've got transferable skills to do things, how to navigate the system if there's a system to be navigated that they don't understand, taking the mystery away from it.
Absolutely. Brilliant. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Fiona. Definitely, these are really, really great starting points. Obviously, we don't have time to go into a huge amount of depth with any of the questions, but these are wonderful thoughts and starting points, and we can really see that in the feedback that we get from the mentors and mentees. And also, to add to that, another impact we can see is the sort of ripple effect when a mentor learns from a mentee, and then they will use what they've learned to spread awareness, and that can hopefully create some change in their spheres and their work, their community. And so there's a lot of power in that as well. Great. So number 2, what impacts have you seen or experienced in mentoring on overcoming exclusion? Would anyone from any of the rooms like to share their thoughts on this?
I think is it us again?
Yeah, great.
I don't want to hog the screen. I'll be quick. So Pat, who was in our group, was talking. She's been working in the disability sphere for a long time and shared quite a lot of good experience on this. And one of the things we discussed here was around changing the perception more broadly. A lot of these people feel quite invisible in society for the various reasons, and so the more that we can work in partnership through mentoring programs and that sort of thing, the mentors can also help to be part of the solution in terms of changing perception and help them see their situation differently, understand their strengths or their superpowers, perhaps overcome their limiting beliefs, and just really create a safe space to challenge those beliefs as well. That's the main conversation we had.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Annabelle. And I saw Una, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, but you raised your hand.
Yeah, hi, it's Una. It's a Gaelic name, but similar to Una in Spanish. For pronunciation purposes. So no, just very quickly, we're not related, Annabelle, and we didn't stage it this way, but off the back of that question, I actually had the privilege a number of years ago of mentoring a disabled graduate who was getting work experience on a program that is run in Ireland called Willing Able Mentored. And it was down to her hard work, but the power of being mentored and just having someone who would listen to her, believe in her, and help build her confidence actually blew me away. And I took way more away from being the mentor than I think she ever got from being mentored by untrained and somewhat clumsy mentoring that she was getting from me. But just having someone help build your confidence and believe in you, I think can be way more powerful than we ever realize.
Oh, thank you, Una. Yeah, what a wonderful, wonderful addition. Thank you. Absolutely, definitely. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, but in the interest of time, we'll move on to the next one. Wow, there is a lot here. This is brilliant. Number 3, how can mentoring support someone overcome internal challenges when facing external barriers? Would anyone from any of these groups like to share their thoughts? A quiet room, but I'll read out some of the thoughts here then. If we don't have a volunteer, that's absolutely fine. So help the mentee by mirroring their strengths and being supportive around developing around challenging areas. Absolutely. Mentors can share through story when faced with similar experiences and how they overcame it. Definitely provide some inspiration there. Mentors can provide a safe space to listen to the insecurities and help to open up the different ways to look at the challenges. Absolutely. Mentors can offer non-judgment and acceptance of the mentee and create a space to experiment with the things the mentee may find challenging. Absolutely. And as Una just shared, just the power of having someone listen to you and believe in you is so incredible. And I can see that the time is getting quite short. So what impacts could mentees in a lower middle income country and mentors have on each other? We've got breaks of conscious bias. Yes, absolutely. Bias is a huge area and something that affects us all. And it absolutely has a massive impact on that. They can both learn and appreciate their cultural differences and be open to adopt some aspects that can enrich their lives and experiences. Oftentimes, we don't know what we don't know. So both mentor and mentee have a chance to learn with each other across country, income, cultural barriers. Mentee can share their fears with the mentor and work on those issues. gratitude, what we each have each day, mentee. So absolutely, there's lots here about changing perception, changing those internal views and ideas that we carry with us. This is really great. I really recommend everybody download these Jamboards. You can save the Jamboards, and that way we can go back and visit and really take in what everyone has shared here. Absolutely lovely ideas. And the last ones we'll quickly go over is, what are some challenges in mentoring across cultures, and how can mentoring overcome cultural boundaries? Would anyone like to share?
Myself, so I can go ahead with what we discussed in our group, and there was quite a lot around not making assumptions and challenging our own cultural biases and how we grew up in our background. We talked a lot about kind of like Middle Eastern cultures and Asian cultures and versus European cultures, different communication styles, you know, high context cultures, low context cultures, direct and indirect cultures. And sometimes when we mentor individuals, it depends also where they're heading in their life. Is it, for example, an Indian graduate that might work in Europe, or vice versa? So these are things that sometimes we have to take into consideration. How we can often do that is having an exploration conversation prior to coaching and mentoring, to understand in time and space, to see where they're heading and where they're coming from, and even having a walk if we're in the same location, to really understand their country, their culture, their background, but also their stories, you know, building that rapport. Because if people trust us as mentors and coaches, they're more likely to, you know, share these really important details that help us to guide them. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you, Julia. I think you've just summed it all up really so succinctly and eloquently. Thank you so much for sharing. That was a wonderful summary of the ideas that we've gathered here. Thank you. And again, I do really recommend that everybody downloads these Jamboards. You'll have access, hopefully, and you can download them and have a read. And I think if you would like to explore this topic further, we've covered these wonderful discussion topics. And I'll let Efe sort of take it away to wrap up.
Thanks, Angela. And again, just thank you to everyone who took part in that breakout and discussion. I really do hope the questions that we asked were quite enlightening, kind of again spark some interesting thoughts and ideas amongst you all. So just on both Angela and I's behalf, I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone. Obviously, if you have any further questions about how we do our mentoring, want to know a little bit more about our program or the work that we do at the foundation, I do encourage you to get in touch with either myself or Angela, as well as keeping or following us on social media. And again, if you want to learn a little bit more about the other programs that we do to support women entrepreneurs around the world, I definitely do encourage you to check out our websites. You'll also find other stories about women that we've supported, sharing about their experiences as well as mentors. So yeah, please do give our website a check. I also wanted to use this opportunity to say that we do have a new cohort of mentors or mentoring starting in November, with recruitment kicking off in September. So if there's anyone here that might be interested in supporting a woman entrepreneur or being a mentor, again, please do follow us on social media and check out our website when the dates for recruitment begin. We always love to welcome a range of experience to the program and to the kind of mental pool that we have, and to offer obviously that expertise to our women entrepreneurs. So if there's anyone here who's interested, please do get in touch. And I guess on that note, I will hand back to Nicola to wrap up officially this session.
Well, can I give you an official EMCC global thank you to you too, and also to everybody who's here, because the engagement and the energy that you put into those Jamboards is just magnificent. I've put a link to some instructions about how to download it up into the chat, and I've put a PDF of it there. But do keep it, because there's so much to unpack in there that we could spend another couple of hours looking at that, I think, and really interrogating that. So I know that it's, you obviously poured your heart into that. So thank you for that. And I've got one last question for Efe and Angela, if I may, actually. I mean, given the you know, the energy that has been here and the interaction in the jam boards, and think about the discussions that we've had. What are you yourselves taking away from this session?
Efe, do you want to go first?
Sure. I think one of the things I have been able to take away, just kind of coming from obviously being on the program and working on the program, is the kind of alignment in the discussions about the kind of key things that kind of come through from the mentor experience, particularly about how much they, coming onto our program, what the mentors can actually provide to the woman entrepreneur, but also how mentoring can also impact the mentor. We really like to kind of emphasize that within our program. So it was kind of great to kind of hear that kind of learning and discussions and seeing how that kind of comes through naturally when people talk about mentoring, about it's not just being a one-way experience or an opportunity for the mentee to obviously gain from being a part of that kind of mentoring partnership, but there's also something to obviously be said about the mentor also being able to kind of gain from the experience and being able to really kind of highlight that and kind of ensure that that's something that is really kind of showcased, because again, we want to make sure, I guess on our program at least, that the mentoring is a two-way learning process. So being able to kind of hear that being reflected in the conversations today was really enlightening and yeah, really key, and kind of solidifies kind of the work that we do and the kind of message that we want to share about mentoring on our program.
Thanks, Efe. What about you, Angela?
Lovely. Not dissimilar from Efe, actually. I really felt impacted by everyone's thoughts around how much mentoring impacts the mentor, what the effect it has on the mentor, and really reminding me of everything you get from it. I'm actually currently mentoring on the program myself, and I'm loving what I'm learning from my mentee. And it's really, really validating to hear it from an external audience. It's really validating to hear these thoughts and the ideas that everyone is sharing. And it has, I'd say it is given I'm always very passionate about the work that we do, but it's ignited it even more, if that's possible. And I feel like I've got fresh energy to go back into meetings and discuss plans around our programs and the impact that we're having, not only on the mentees, but the mentors. They're a huge, huge part of the program. We wouldn't be able to exist without people who want to support the program, the women entrepreneurs, and people who are dedicated to being a mentor and growing their skills as a mentor.
Oh, I love that, inspiration and ignition. I think it's a good theme to come to an end to this session on, but thank you so much for everybody for engaging in this session.